afternoon and welcome back to A Positive Light. I am your host, Joni Lane, and we have this show, Positive Light, every Monday at 3 o'clock Pacific Time. Thank you, LCM TV, for having us here today. And you were listening to music by Sam Houston. That was Seasons of Luna. And Sam is a very talented musician. I love playing his music, so you'll hear that a few times during the show. We'll begin and end and have our break with that music. Sam has a website, and his last name is Houston, Euston, and that's samhouston.com. So if you'd like to check that out, I encourage you to do so. Today is Monday, and every Monday at a Positive Light Meditation Center in Kelseyville, we hold meditation classes at 7 o'clock. There's no cost, but we do run on donations, so we appreciate anything you can afford to donate. Our meditation center in Kelseyville, California, is a nonprofit. So we're looking for anyone to donate, not only monetarily, but also we have gardens that we're working on to actually we're looking to increase our gardens so that we can grow more food for the food banks in the area. So if you have any soil or seeds or knowledge that you can donate to us and share with us, we'd really appreciate that. My contact information will be flashing up on the screen from time to time during the show. But just to let you know, my name is Joni, and you can email me at Joni, Joanie, at apositivelight.com. And if you look on, if you Google A Positive Light because you don't remember the website or you just think, oh, I think she said Positive Light, don't forget to say A Positive Light because you'll find it faster that way. But our website is apositivelight.com. And we have our schedule of events, our calendar, and we have copies of these shows archived on that as well. So I encourage you to check out our website. We have a lot of information on there. And as I said, today's Monday, so Monday tonight at 7 o'clock, we do have our meditation class. The meditation usually begins with mindfulness meditation, or sati meditation. And we do 4 to 6 weeks of mindfulness meditation. Right now I'm mindful of my allergies, so I may be clearing my throat a bit during today. I hope you can forgive me for that. But mindfulness meditation is simply being aware of where we're at in the moment, where we are at physically, where we're at mentally and emotionally. Sometimes being mindful of our state of mind is very important. If we've had a trying day or something has happened that has upset us or stressed us out in some way, we may want to be mindful of that feeling and look at it and see where this is coming from. Is this something my imagination is making more of than there really is? Becoming mindful of our thoughts can really help us become better, more relaxed, happier people. So I encourage people to begin their meditation education with the sati or mindfulness meditation. It just makes it easier to go into the other meditations a little bit easier if you have a basic understanding of mindfulness. The other meditations we teach are metta meditation, which is loving kindness meditation, which is learning to be kind and loving toward yourself, accepting who you are, your humanness, your mistakes, your beauty, all of the gifts that you have that you may not really want to delve into because you're insecure about them, but loving yourself and who you are and really exploring those things helps us to be happier and also helps us to be more loving toward the other people in our lives and strangers too. Usually we do 4 to 6 additional weeks of meditation after the sati meditation. Then we'll move on to Vipassana meditation. The Vipassana meditation is very much like mindfulness meditation, but we're taking a look at the way we think and the way we act. And usually people are products of experiences, life experiences, things we've seen or done. They kind of shape who we are. And if you're practicing Vipassana meditation, you're being mindful of your thoughts, but you're also kind of taking a look at them and where they come from and how you might be able to deal with them, developing tools to become better equipped to deal with emotions. Vipassana actually means insight meditation. And so as we develop insight into our thoughts, not only identifying them, which is an insight, but looking at them in their origin, where they came from, how they affect us. That's what we usually refer to as pushing our buttons, those reactionary actions that we have. And insight meditation can help us understand why we act the way we do and how we might correct some of the behavior that we're not happy with, or how we might embrace some of the behavior we're very happy with. So these different kinds of meditation all provide their own gift. And so practicing them individually is great. Doing them whenever you can randomly is fine. And if you can't make it to our meditation center in Kelseyville, please think about looking for one in your area, because learning to meditate is a very powerful tool, and you don't need to be really good at it. Nobody has any expectation. When you go into a meditation center, there is no scale of somebody's better at it than me. There's no scale and no comparison about who's sitting next to me on their cushion and can they do that better than I can. We're all human, and believe me, I've been practicing meditation for 26 years, and there are days when I have a very hard time sitting still and being quiet. It's just people being human and allowing yourself to be human as you learn to learn about yourself, learning how to learn about yourself. Sounds like a good education right there. Some of the other classes that and they're not all classes, some of them are groups. Some of the other groups that we hold at the center are 12 and Zen. And 12 and Zen is based on a book by my friend Bill Crumbeen, who was at the Pacific Zen Center in Santa Rosa. He's since moved on, but he did write this book, and he does hold classes for 12 and Zen. We hold them now once a month, the second Tuesday of every month at 7 o'clock. And what that class or group consists of is 12 steps based on the traditional AA steps. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to be in recovery or have an addiction problem. It simply means that we use the basic 12 steps from AA, and they have also been written as the 12 steps of Zen practitioner, which are slightly different, and the 12 steps of societal normal, which are slightly different. And we meditate on whichever style resonates with you, and you kind of see what comes up with that step, see what it means to you, how you relate to it. And then we match that with a Buddhist koan. And a koan is a story or a parable. And after meditating on the step, we listen to the story and think, how does this relate? What comes up for me? What develops in my mind as I meditate on this? And it's amazing because we can have 12 people in this group and come up with 12 completely different viewpoints. And hearing other people's viewpoints really opens up information to us that we may not have even thought of. So it's a lot of fun, and we have a good time. We laugh a lot. We enjoy each other's insights. We learn a lot about ourselves from their insights. So The second Tuesday of every month at 7 o'clock, we hold this group. I also hold a Reiki healing circle once a month, and it's normally on the last Friday of every month at 7 o'clock, but this month in April it'll be on the 17th. So Friday the 17th at 7 o'clock. And we do ask for a $10 donation on this class because it's a 2-hour group and there's quite a bit of setup and tearing down. So just to pay for the room and the equipment that we use, we ask for a $10 donation. Now, Reiki healing, what is that? I am a Reiki master teacher, and Reiki is Japanese, and it is a healing technique. Many of you might have heard of Qigong, which is Chinese, Qi meaning energy, and in Reiki, Ki meaning energy in Japanese. What this class is a group of people. You sign up, and usually there's 8 to 10 people. And the class fills up really quickly, so I encourage you to email me if you'd like to get in on it. You'll come in and we do a little bit of gentle yoga, nothing strenuous, and kind of relax and let energy flow. We'll do a little bit of Qigong, and then you'll lay down on comfortable mats with pillows and blankets and get all comfy and cozy, and I will give you a guided meditation, and I will give you individual Reiki. Now, Reiki is a healing process. I am not a healer. I do not heal you. But being a Reiki master, I've learned to move energy. And the universal energy all around us can be moved with the intention of our mind. And with years of training, you can learn how to do this. And after years of training, I have learned how to do this. And I give Reiki healings to people. It's a very powerful class. Most people leave feeling so good, they've already signed up for the next class. So it fills up really quickly. And then speaking of Reiki, I do teach Reiki as well. And when I teach Reiki, it's level 1, level 2. I also teach a master class and a teacher class. I can combine the classes so that there's level 1 and 2, or master and teacher. And the classes individually are 4 to 6 hours long. And if I combine classes, they're going to be a little bit longer, between 6 and 8 hours usually. I can break that up into a weekend to do 1 day or 2 days, but I try to put them together for you to suit what you need at the rate that you can learn it. And I brought my manual. I've written a manual for this, so you'll receive a manual. And I hope you can see this okay. And it's got your information that you'll be able to take with you, so that if you have a question or you want to refer to it, you'll have it with you. And you'll also get a certificate of completion signed by me, and I will be your Reiki master teacher for the rest of your life. So that's my commitment to you. Once you come into our center and take the Reiki classes, I will commit myself to you as a teacher for the rest of my life. So something to think about. That information on that is also on my website, and it is under its own little tab, Reiki. So again, my website is apositivelight.com if you'd like more information on that. And feel free to email me or call me, and we can set up a class time for you. We can do it in a group or individually. So it's up to you and what you're comfortable with. Another class that I've designed, and I find this is a unique design, I came up with it accidentally, is birthing meditation. Prasava meditation. Prasava means birthing and labor in Sanskrit. And I know it sounds a little odd that anyone could meditate during labor, but I remember back in the 70s and 80s when we were teaching Lamaze classes, and it was a lot of breathing technique and muscle control. And I had that training during my labors and delivery, and I'm really glad that I did. It helped. But if I could have had more, I would have gone for it because it's one of the most difficult things a woman can go through. And I know the helplessness that the partner feels as well going through this. So, what happened was one of my meditation students um, became pregnant and came every Monday to with meditation during her pregnancy. And at the end of her pregnancy, she came into meditation in the early stages of labor. And I thought, I've been thinking about doing this. Do you want to try it? And she was willing to. So we tried this. And basically, to put it in a nutshell and not go into great detail on it, she laid down on very comfortable mats with supported white pillows and her partner, and I walked her through muscle control, breathing techniques, relaxation and opening techniques, and kind of stepped through the labor process with her. Went through that for about half an hour, and she was very relaxed during her labor pains. Um, Started becoming more in control of the situation. The pain lessened, so it wasn't overwhelming. She was actually able to enjoy the birth when they went to the hospital. So she is also coming back now through her second pregnancy. She'll be visiting again this week. She'll be at my place and we'll be going over it again. Um, and they're really anxious about it because they loved the way that it helped them through the labor and delivery. They're looking forward to this next birth because they can actually experience it with some joy without being overwhelmed by the pain and the fear that can come along with pain. So I'm so happy that this developed, and I'd love to share it with you if you or someone you know is having a baby and you and your partner would like to come in and work on these meditations. I'd love to share them with you. I know personally any tool I could have gotten during my labor and delivery, I would have grabbed onto. So I really am excited about this because it's something nobody else has done, and it seems to be working really well. So call me about that or email me, and we'll set up a time for you to come in and practice your Prasalva meditation. Oh, there's so many classes that we're adding, and we haven't scheduled them all yet. But every few months, I do a healing movement Qigong class. And my teacher, Master Ming Tong Gu from China, runs the Qi Center. And what the Qi Center is a healing center where he uses Qigong movement to move the energy to help heal. And it's actually been proven to heal on a cellular level. Some lupus patients have said they've had no symptoms for years after taking some of his Qigong movement courses. And after taking his training, I've been sharing this with people and getting a lot of very positive feedback. Most of the people are just using this technique to move energy to feel better and de-stress. But many people use this as for their chronic illnesses and chronic pain. Some illnesses there really aren't a cure for yet, but there's ways to help handle the different side effects that go with their medication. So Qigong can be used for many things, and the healing movement Qigong is specifically designed to flush out negative energies and help your cells heal on their own. So look for that too on my calendar on the website, because I will be putting that up in the next few months, and those are classes that also fill up very quickly. And there's a $25 donation requested for that class as well, because it is an all-day class, 6 hours or so. But it's very intense, and most people, it usually goes over because most people want to stay and continue to move and do the things we do. And there's a lot of movement involved. However, There are people that cannot stand or cannot sit for long periods of time. We do have chairs and mats. So whatever it is that you need, we try to provide for you. I know there's physical limitations when we have illnesses, and so we do keep that in mind. But if there is something that you need special for you for a class, please email me and let me know what that is, and we'll try to accommodate you as best we can. I was thinking about communication today, and I have, like everyone else, bad days and good days, better days, worse days of communicating. And I'm learning every day little things on how to stop myself from my patterns and change them into better patterns. Communication is something that's very difficult for humans. We want to be heard. We want to be understood. We really like it when people agree with us. But when people don't, or they don't understand, it can be difficult for us to accept that. And we tend to fight back a little bit. I know I do this because I'm human. And I allow myself to be human, but I try to look at it and think, okay, how could I have done that differently? Next time when this communication problem comes up, how can I approach it differently? How can I react differently? Meditation has really helped me with this. Insight meditation especially. I can sit and meditate on an issue or a particular conversation I've had with someone and realize my part in it and realize the part I may have made difficult in it. And look at that and think, first of all, where does it come from? Why am I reacting this way? Could I react differently? Could I hear what they're trying to say instead of the words they're using? Perhaps they're not using the correct words to convey the message they're trying to convey. And I think we've all run into that, where we really want to say something, but we're not saying it right. So what I've done, and this works pretty well for me, and I'm still working on it. Well, what I've done is I'll stop and I'll say, that's really not what I meant to say. I just heard the words I used, and it's not really what I wanted to say. So let me try to reword it to say what I really want to say. And most of the time when you do that, people go, oh, okay, I didn't realize that you knew that you said something that you didn't want to say. But when we're really stubborn and we hang on to things that we can't be wrong about, it does not create a flow. It actually stifles the flow. So during meditation, you might want to look at better communication skills. And one of probably the number one communication skill I suggest people practice is, instead of speaking and telling people what you want to be heard, listen. If you listen to what they're really trying to say to you, you may react in a way that actually helps the conversation to flow. And I find that, especially in today's society, we're very stubborn about needing to be right. We're very stubborn about needing to be heard. And often I'll hear people say, I don't need to be right. I just want to be heard. And that's a very powerful statement. I feel if you say, okay, this is what I hear you saying, it validates what they've said. They feel like, okay, she did hear me. He did hear me. Now I'm open to listen to their side of it. And now it's your turn to be responsible with the words you're using. In Buddhism, it's called right speech and right thought. And part of the Eightfold Path and the Four Noble Truths is part of communication and taking responsibility for our part in communication, whether it's working or not working. And there's really no judgment about it. It's just looking at what is and looking at the things that we can do differently and being open to things that we can do differently and growing as people. I also noticed that there are some individuals who have a very difficult time being calm because they say it's boring. Being calm and not being upset, I suppose it can be boring, but it's also very peaceful and you can be happier easily. Some people create drama because they need to avoid, so they create a drama so they don't have to look at the truth of what's really going on. So, taking all of what I just said into account, if you're using Vipassana meditation, using insight meditation, you can kind of separate what works, what doesn't work, what you're willing to work on, what you're not willing to work on, what you are responsible for, what you're not responsible for. And in understanding those things, it really helps open up our communication with each other. And a huge part of our societal problems are lack of communication, lack of being heard, lack of using the correct words, lack of being understood because we're not using the correct words and insisting on not using the correct words. So, we're all human. And I'm just as human as the next guy, and I get very stubborn about things. But I do want to be better at my communication. And if you want to be better at your communication, I think that's a huge door that just opened, because at least you're trying. At least you want to be better at communication. So solving problems within your family or your coworkers or just people at the gas station, learning to communicate is a very important thing. I watch children communicate, and they're very simple. They know what they want. They're very honest about it. I want this, it's mine. Well, that's pretty clear. And we all kind of feel that way. I don't know if we ever really grow out of that, but we do learn to share. And we expect others to share. And I don't know if we ever really get that. There are times when I hear people that are much older than me still arguing like children, and I think, wow, it's kind of sad that they didn't learn that communication skill. And then I catch myself doing it. So I suggest meditation for communication, for your own peace of mind, to learn how to work with people in this world, because we are people in this world. And Vipassana meditation, mindfulness meditation, and loving kindness meditation are all wonderful ways to learn how to communicate, because it quiets our mind. It helps us to look at what's real, what we've imagined, things we've made up in our head that really aren't there. We learn to use the correct words to convey messages to each other. And once we learn how to do that, and we learn how to listen, a lot of the problems disappear and we become happier people. So I'm going to leave you with that thought and take a break for a minute and let you listen to more of Sam Houston's Seasons of Luna. And again, you can find his website, samhouston.com, and look into his music. Very talented man. We'll be back in a minute. Thank you very much. Hi, and welcome back. I'm Joni Lane, your host for Positive Light, and you were listening to Sam Houston's CD, and that was Seasons of Luna. Again, you can find his CD on his website, samhouston.com. And also, I'd like to say that I do have several of his CDs too. So if you'd like to order a CD through me, you can email me. They are $10, and I will be happy to send that to you. Or better yet, come into our meditation center and buy one there. I'll have them on display at our center as well. Our center, as I said, is a nonprofit based in Kelseyville, California. And Kelseyville is about 2 hours north of San Francisco, is the easiest way I can describe it, in Lake County. Beautiful area. Right now there's spring flowers blooming everywhere. It's just gorgeous. And we're actually getting a little rain today, so we're excited about that. We need it. I'd like to set an intention, and I'm going to read this quote. Today I will remember that I am on the earth in order to accomplish something. And I will ask of some power greater than myself to be shown more clearly what that might be. And I will ask that same power to help me find the willingness to follow wherever it may lead me. I was thinking about this quote today because oftentimes we get to points in our life, well, I think all of us do. We get to a point in our life where we really don't know where to go next. We're tired of being in this job, feeling stuck, not really going, feeling very unsatisfied, not really going with the flow of things. And I have people, I am a life coach as well, and I have people come to me and they think, I'm really unhappy and I don't know what's going on and I feel stuck and I don't know what to do. And so I'd like to offer a few suggestions. I think we all get to those points because life changes and we don't really know how to change with it sometimes. Some of that is our upbringing. Some of that maybe we were brought up with a father who worked for one company for 40 years, and he's a company man, and he really feels that's important that you have one job with a pension and a retirement. And maybe it is. Maybe that's exactly what you need. Maybe that's what it is for you. But there are other people who really don't want that. Or maybe they do want that and they've tried it, but they're not in the right profession and they haven't found what they need yet. So one of the things I've told my children over the years was, you can go to school to become anything you want. You're already you, and you're perfect as you are. But becoming more of you often means realizing who you are. You may not be a telephone repairman. You may be. Maybe you're a natural-born mechanic. It's kind of like we need to discover what our gifts are and then try them out. Kind of try them on to see how they fit. And another thing I've told them is whether you go to college or not, if you decide you want to try something on for a job, great. Try it all. Life is a smorgasbord. You might as well try everything you want. If you find something you don't really fit, it's okay. You learned a lot from that job. You've learned a lot from that experience. It's okay to walk away from it and try something new. Because I think the only way we really find what we want to do is by doing several things. And that being said, oftentimes when we think, oh, I found my niche, this is really what I want to do, 10 years later it changes because life has changed. Things have changed. Maybe you've gotten married and had children and have a different family. You may live in a different town. As things change, a lot of times we need to change our jobs. Or if not a job, maybe you're retired and now you're wondering, what am I going to do? I've done something for 30 years. I don't know what to do now. It seems really overwhelming sometimes when we get there. I've done it. I worked for a mortgage company for 20 years as an underwriter. Talk about stress. And it wasn't what I wanted to do, but it was a really good job for me at the time because it provided for my family, which at the time was very important. But then things changed. My kids grew up, moved away, and my life changed. And that job no longer fit who I was. So I had to take a look at what is it that my heart really wants to do? Where do I where does my heart soar? What happens when time flies by because I'm really enjoying something? That's usually a very good indication that that is your bliss. That is your path because you're flowing with time. So I was reading a book the other day by Lisa Earl McLeod called it's a oh, let me look here on my nose. Forget Perfect. I wanted to make sure I got it right. The book Forget Perfect. And it's a great book because we are raised with this image of having to be perfect, having to have the right clothes, the right car, the right husband, the right wife, the right children, and putting on this picture of perfectness, which is really a lot of stress when you think about it. That's taking on a huge endeavor because nothing's perfect. And she says in a quote from this book, our lives are a series of windows that open and close. The hard part is figuring out which ones will close forever. And I read that quote a few times before it really sunk in. When you look at windows opening and closing, and you have choices to make, say you're a student and you've just graduated from college and now you get to decide which job you want. You might look and say, I have 5 different applications that I got approved for, or I got interviewed for, and they now have job offers coming in, and I don't know which one to take. And this is a really awkward place to be because now you have to make a decision. Now you need to make a decision, and oftentimes it feels like, boy, I better make the right decision because I'm going to be doing this for a long time. But that's putting an awful lot of pressure on yourself. When you think about it, choose the one that feels good. And if it doesn't work out, you can change it. When you're 25 years old and you're starting out and you feel like this is it for the rest of your life, this is the job you're going to do, take the pressure off yourself. Just allow yourself to say, okay, I'm going to try this on for a little bit. And if you try it on and you feel like it doesn't really work, it's okay. It means you've learned that that job doesn't fit you. But you can go to the next one and see if that one does. And maybe you want to do 6 or 7 different jobs to work into another job. And that can be really exciting because there's no real commitment there that's going to make you feel locked in and stuck. Allow yourself the freedom to say, I don't want to do this. Allow yourself the freedom to say, there are other things I can do. And maybe they won't work. It's okay. Allow yourself the freedom to say that. Perhaps you're a new parent. Maybe you were married a few years ago and now you have a baby. That's a life-changing experience. Now you have to decide, well, do I want to go back to work? Now I'm a parent. I've got to go back to work. I have all these bills. But I want to be a good parent to my baby. And that's a real dilemma. And it's a real problem. And it's something we go through as a parent. But take the stress off yourself and look at it differently. Yes, you need to pay your bills. Yes, you need to feed your family. But maybe you have a partner. Maybe you can take turns of who's going to do a full-time job and who's going to do a part-time job. Who's going to be able to stay home with the baby sometimes and maybe switch. Maybe one year you'll work full-time and your partner will work part-time, stay home with the baby part-time. Or maybe stay home full-time for now. Because Maybe in 5 years when that child goes to school, you'll feel like working more, or maybe not. But, you know, chasing money is not the answer. Chasing money is not going to make you happy. It makes life a little easier to be able to pay the bills easier, but when we're on our deathbed looking back, we don't look at how much money we made. We look at how much time we spent with people who matter. What did I do with my life that made a difference? Those are the things we look at. So my suggestion, no matter where you are in your life, whether you're just starting out or you're coming into retirement, looking at things, what's important? What am I going to look back on and think, I'm really glad I did that? Because I don't think we're going to look back on our life and think, I'm really glad I spent 40 years working at a job that I didn't like just to make money. And then all of a sudden you retire and you realize your life is half or more gone, and you didn't get to spend it with the people you enjoy. You didn't get to take the vacations. You didn't get to see the world or play your music or paint pictures or whatever it is that's your bliss. Because when you look back at the end of the day, that's what you're going to look at. How you spent your life. And the term spending your life is an interesting term. We're given so much time, and it's broken up into little chunks. And we actually spend it away, like money. And we're only given so much. So we really need to make the best of it. So deciding how you want to spend your chunks of life, what's really important? What's going to fulfill you? What are you going to look back on and think, wow, I'm really glad I did that? I know people who never really made a lot of money. They had 10 kids. I know a family in particular who had 8 children, hardly any money, but they were happy. And why were they happy? Because they had a huge family. They loved spending time together. They actually chose to not have careers. They chose to spend time with their family. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a career, because careers are wonderful if that's your bliss. If following a career is your bliss, I think you need to do it. It's your life, and you need to be happy. That's the meaning of life, happiness. So, forgetting perfect, forgetting other people's expectations of us, forgetting what we think is important and looking at what's really important is what we need to do if we're going to really feel fulfilled at the end of the day. There's an example of a woman who was in a retirement community, and her daughter, this woman was looking for a couch. And she found a beautiful couch, and she was with her daughter shopping, and her daughter said, Mom, you don't need that couch. You're going to be moving in with me in a few years. I'm going to be taking care of you. And so the woman stopped and thought, okay, maybe I don't want to buy this. She's making sense. Does it make sense to spend money on a couch that I may not need? But then when she thought about it, she realized, you know what? I really love my community. I love my retirement community. I'm playing golf. I'm going on trips. I'm enjoying my friends. How long do I have to spend time doing that before I give up my community and move in with my daughter? And so she decided to buy the couch because she wanted to live in her community with the couch she wanted to buy. It made her happy. And in the long run, her life is her life. And her daughter had a hard time understanding that because she wanted to take care of her mom, which is a wonderful thing. But her mom wasn't ready for that. So I'm sure after they worked it out, they were both happy. But learning how to not please others and giving up who you are and what you need is a very important lesson. And a lot of us don't learn it until it's too late. So I'm suggesting that you look at your life when you come to these places where you feel stuck or you feel you have to make a decision, and look at the long term. Look at what's going to benefit your life and make it fuller. And you can't discount other people and how it's going to affect them. But you do have to look at, when you look back at the end of the day, what are you going to see? What are you going to be happy you did? So a lot of times fear will help us decide. And fear, well, I better do this because I'm afraid if I don't, I won't have something else. And fear clouds our issues. It clouds our decision making. It clouds our mind. It does not help us make the right decisions. So think about this for the next few minutes while you listen to some more music by Sam Houston. Where are you in your life? What is it that you may or may not want to change? Are there things that would make you happier in the long run? So we're going to take a break right now for another minute or so, put some music on and let you listen to music and think about that. Well, I hope you enjoyed that interlude with Sam's music, Seasons of Luna. And I hope it gave some thought to my suggestion about looking at your life and how you're spending your time. For me, spending my time with family and friends is probably the most important thing, and I don't get to do it very often. So when I do, it's very treasured. In the meantime, I love holding groups and classes at the meditation center and helping people find their happiness. There really is no greater joy for me than working with people to help them find their happiness. I can't always do it, but I try. And there's some tools that you can learn that we offer at the center. As I mentioned before, there's meditation, which is helpful in calming your mind and helping your thought process to become clear. The clarity in real thoughts, not imagined thoughts, but what's really important. If you're pregnant, birthing meditation classes are a very exciting new class that we're having. So if you're interested in that, email me or call and we'll set up something for you. The Qigong healing movement classes are wonderfully healing, and the Reiki circle at the end of the month. And all of these are on the calendar on my website at apositivelight.com. I mentioned that I am a Reiki master teacher, and I do teach Reiki as well as hold the Reiki healing circles. And I love teaching Reiki because it's something that you can take with you for yourself, and you can use it to heal yourself and others. Now, the energy that you move as a Reiki practitioner is not you healing yourself. It's the energy you're moving that can heal. By flushing out toxins and creating, um, removing blocks that might be in your chakras, moving the energy through your body. Um, Reiki is an amazingly subtle but powerful tool to use in healing. So if you'd like to learn more about that, contact me and I'll be happy to set something up. Um, Meditation, what we're doing right now is metta meditation, which is loving kindness meditation. The last couple months we were working on mindfulness meditation, which is becoming mindful of your thoughts, mindful of how you're using your body, mindful of how you're speaking, and using that education, using loving kindness meditation of thinking your thoughts in a loving way. How am I thinking? How am I talking to myself? Do I speak negative phrases to myself? Negative phrases are something that we all do, and they're very unhealthy. And I've suffered with depression most of my life, and meditation has really helped me with that because I really started realizing how often I used negative statements. I'm very critical, and I think we all are, very critical of ourselves. We're very judgmental. We're always comparing ourselves to other people. Instead of accepting the fact that we are just beautiful people all on our own, we have a very hard time with that. We tend to compare. And in loving kindness meditation, we simply love who we are. And that can start with something very simple, just closing your eyes and being in your body and loving your breath, loving your heartbeat, loving the way you feel when you smile. Often you can love things just by thinking about them. Oh, I love it out at the coast. It's so beautiful there. Or I love being in a redwood forest. I love the smell. Or I love being with my children. And there's certain things that we can identify that we truly know we love. Sometimes in loving kindness meditation, we don't really know where to start. And so I will suggest that we go into our heart chakra and breathe and open that chakra up and allow those loving feelings to come up. And you may visualize that forest or the ocean, or visualize a family picnic, whatever it is that helps those feelings arise. And really sit in those loving, wonderful feelings and realize that that is who you are. You are unique. You are only one feeling those feelings. You are the only one experiencing that love inside of you in that moment. That's a very powerful thing to realize, that we have the ability to sit in love. Once you realize that you have the ability to make the choice to sit in love, you can bring that with you through the day. You can choose to react and act in love. For example, if you're used to sitting in that space of love because you've been practicing that meditation, and you go to the store, and the lines are long and you're impatient because you want to get going, and the lady in front of you's got 50 coupons she's using, and now you're really getting impatient. You can stop that behavior and that conversation in your mind and smile because you really are a loving person and you really can't control the people around you. And maybe that lady really needs to use those coupons. Maybe she's trying to get the most she can because she doesn't have anything else. And maybe she's got a family to feed that really needs that food. Now, if you were to think about it, would you wish something bad on her? Would you wish she'd just go, move out of the way and spend more money and it's not my problem? And you know deep down that doesn't feel good when you think that way. So I'm saying, using metta meditation, loving kindness meditation, we can stop that kind of thinking and start becoming more compassionate to the people around us. We can become more compassionate to their situations, to putting ourselves in their place, trying to see things from their point of view, because the world does not revolve around what we want. And even if it did, it's not going to happen. The world's going to be the way it is. So my suggestion is to try to fit into the world the way it is and make the best of it. Choose to live in a loving way. Choose to be compassionate to the other people in the world. Sometimes they're very difficult, but then sometimes we are too. And we want to be forgiven, and we want to be allowed to be human. So we need to make those allowances for other people as well. So this week, if you can't find a meditation center and you don't feel comfortable at a meditation center, I suggest you take a few minutes to yourself, and you can even do this in your car in the parking lot. If that's the only time you can find alone, that's fine. But just take a few minutes and breathe, close your eyes, listen to your breath, feel your lungs expand. Bring yourself into that place of feeling very loving. Whatever the memory is you need to use to get you there, go ahead and let that feeling develop, and let that loving feeling really envelop you. Allow that to completely envelop you and just sit in that. And then allow yourself to wish the best on yourself and everyone in the world. May I be well. May you be well. May we be well. And in those few moments of just dwelling in that loving energy, take a deep breath and open your eyes and try to carry that with you through the day. If you find yourself in a difficult situation at some point in the day, or feeling frustrated or tired or hungry or whatever, bring those feelings back up and become compassionate. Open that compassionate heart and allow that loving feeling to take over. Choose to live in love. Choose to react in love. Choose to forgive. Choose to forgive yourself. And just choose to smile and make every minute you can the most loving minute you can. And the more you practice that, the easier it'll become. It's a habit that you develop, and practice is what gets you there. So that's my suggestion for the week. Try to take a few breaths, live in that loving energy, and become compassionate and understanding toward yourself as well as others. So I'm going to leave you again for this week. Thank you so much for joining us here at A Positive Light. We are here every Monday at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Thank you, LCM TV, for having us. And thank you, Sam, for letting us play your beautiful music. We'll be back next week, and I will see you then with some new suggestions. In the meantime, take care of yourself and be nice to yourself and others.